Breaker Crunchers, welcome to issue 76 of Couch Crunchers, where Lance and I are together in person once again for one final episode before he returns to Arizona, which is
the
sad.
Valley of the Heat.
The Valley of the Heat, the sad of the sad, hell and Satan's armpit.
Mm-hmm.
I lived there for a long time. I enjoy it here, but it has been cold. Anyway, we say this, we're going to do a shorter one today. Who knows what actually is going to happen.
Right.
But, we wanted to get an episode in while he's here. He's leaving tomorrow morning, which will be Saturday. But it is Friday here. But at any rate, we're going to go ahead and get started like we usually do and talk about our Fab or Flubs. If you don't know what this segment is, it's a segment where we read off some recent headlines and we discuss whether or not we think they are fabulous or flubulous. So first on the docket is something I find really interesting. One of the Venom producers says that the Joker's success could lead to the Venom sequel being rated R. What do you think about that, Lance?
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either, but if it did happen,
I think that's okay, but I think that there's a stipulation, I'm sure, with the new agreement with Disney and Sony. I don't think that's allowed to happen now.
I wouldn't think it's not allowed. I just don't think it'll happen. If you've created a PG-13 movie, why is the sequel all of a sudden going to be R?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. I'm all for a rated R Venom. We all thought the original was going to be rated R. It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been better if it was. I don't think Venom itself needs to be rated R. Like, I think you can have Venom with Spider-Man and it works great. But when he's leading the movie, I think it would have worked better that way. But yeah, at this point, I don't think it's going to happen either.
Yeah.
So
I highly doubt it.
I say fab in the sense of if it happened, I think that'd be cool.
Especially because people don't. It's kind of short-sighted because Joker was rated R, but it was like in a very serious tone.
Yeah.
Venom's not going to be,
No, Venom's silly.
Right.
Yeah.
So if like Deadpool was also successful, so Deadpool should have been the reason that they went rated R more so than Joker.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because Deadpool fits that vein more. Joker is a beast of its own. I mean, Joker could lead to other like gangster type movies being rated R.
Well, I mean, gangster movies usually are anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to equate it's late here. I'm trying to equate the two. Like, Joker is more so a gangster movie than it is a comic book movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
It doesn't delve into the realm of fantasy.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. Yeah, I'm with you. It's not going to happen. I don't think the Joker and the Venom correlate as much.
Right.
Not that Deadpool does, but Deadpool correlates more. Deadpool feels like a comic book movie. Joker doesn't really.
Right.
It's set in a comic book world because it is the Joker, and it's got Bruce Wayne, and it's Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
But you could have easily put that story in another city, and it would have been a really good story still.
You could have had, Joe Pesci, or, you could have had a gangster.
Could have had the exact same actors in it. And
just no face paint.
You could have still had the face paint.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even, like he looks like Joker because he is the Joker. But really, that's not usually what the Joker looks like.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a really good movie, but they don't correlate in my opinion. But in the same vein of Batman, we've got another piece of news. Peter Sarsgaard, I wrote down Skarsgård, but it is Sarsgaard, who is the son of, I'm blanking on his first name, but Pennywise is not the son. He's the brother of Pennywise. Alexander? Bill Sarsgaard.
Alexander Sarsgaard is another brother.
Alexander Sarsgaard is another. Man, there's a lot of Sarsgaards. And then, of course, their dad was in Thor as the Doctor. And he's been in plenty of other things as well, Pirates of the Caribbean and some stuff. But he's been cast in a role in the Batman. We don't know for sure what that role is, but we think that it's likely going to be Two-Face. What do you think about that?
I think that he's a fantastic actor. I've seen a lot of things with him in it. The entire. Okay, so wait a minute. Maybe they're not brothers.
No?
Because I just looked up Pennywise and his last name is Skarsgård.
So they're not related.
So one is Sarsgaard and one is Skarsgård.
Oh man, are we totally wrong on this?
I'm fact checking myself.
Peter Sarsgaard. Okay, well then, if they're not related, they're not related. Peter Sarsgaard. Yeah, you're right, because it is Skarsgård. I was right for the other ones.
Yeah.
All right, well they're not related then. So then the argument I was going to make doesn't apply. I haven't seen this guy in hardly anything. I mean, I've seen him
in a lot of stuff.
I've seen him in some stuff like The Magnificent Seven and some of the others, but he isn't like his face isn't memorable to me. You know, I don't know that he's been the main character in most of the stuff I've seen him in.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it, but my original thought was going to be that, oh, he's related to the Skarsgårds. He's going to be great. You know, like,
well, he played a major role in Black Mass. He played a big role in Jarhead. He played in Green Lantern. He's played in a lot of things that you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen Black Mass. I've seen, Magnificent Seven. I just can't remember him, from those. He's not as memorable of an actor to me. So maybe that means this is a flub for me, honestly. I can't even recognize his face, and I've seen him in several movies.
Yeah, I think he's a great actor, so I'm excited to see him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. This Batman movie is looking like it's going to be a little crowded, though.
Right.
I mean,
I hope it's not suffering from the Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe they are casting all these actors because they're trying to build a universe around this new Batman, which could be fine. I am starting to doubt
Robert
Pattinson a little bit more, just based on what we talked about on the last episode. But it's just really filled. I mean, you've got Riddler is not officially there, but it's rumored. You've got Alfred, that's fine. It looks like Two-Face is going to be in this. You got Catwoman in this. You got a ton.
I wonder if they're not announcing who he is because maybe it's like a after credits.
And it might be, and he might be a small role, and maybe they know that they want this guy to be, if he is Two-Face. Maybe they know that they want him as Two-Face. He's not going to play a big role. Same thing with Riddler. I forget who's rumored for that now, but maybe that actor isn't going to be in it a lot either. And so it's like maybe they're like kind of going to tease them and
Riddler was already cast, wasn't it?
Is Riddler? Oh yeah,
Dano.
Riddler. Yeah, you're right. That Dano. Yeah. So I don't know, but maybe not all of these people are going to have big roles. Maybe they're going to be there, and you're going to meet them, and it's going to be like cameos.
You got Catwoman, Riddler, Penguin, Two-Face. Batman,
Penguin's the rumor, because Colin Firth, or is it Farrell?
Penguin. He
is officially. I thought I saw that was rumored.
No. He reached a deal.
Okay, I'm going to fact check you now. Who's playing the Penguin in the new Batman? I'm pretty. You're right. All right, Colin Farrell. All right.
Yeah, they had a deal done overnight once Jonah Hill dropped out.
This movie's packed.
Mm-hmm.
I hope these are cameos.
You know who's not packed?
What's that?
Robert Pattinson.
That's true. I have been seeing those articles that he is having a hard time putting on the weight,
mm-hmm.
and that is a little bit concerning. I mean, I don't mind.
You should just cast Ben Affleck.
I mean, Ben Affleck, I think, looked the part really well, but Christian Bale really wasn't that ripped, and he still did a good job.
Christian Bale is bigger than Robert Pattinson. I don't know if you've seen Robert Pattinson's last movie, but he looks.
Well, he's really thin in The Lighthouse,
yeah,
which I think was by design. I saw a recent picture of Robert Pattinson, and he looked a little bit bigger, but yeah, Robert Pattinson can't bulk up. Huh? That's one of the first articles. And I was going to see if I could find the images. Yeah, that's true. I'm looking. Oh, my screen blacked out for half a second. Yeah, they've got an image here. All right, I'm gonna share this. If you're watching our YouTube, let's share my screen here. Put this in a new window. Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see this because this is a recent picture. He's not looking good, in my opinion here. This one on the right. That's not.
Is that him working out?
Yeah. So he's trying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, that's not very bulky. This one right here. I mean, he's definitely more fit than I am. That's for sure. But I'm also not cast as the Batman.
No, Max is cast as the Fat Man.
Yes, I could be. Which reminds me of something. I'm going to throw this out here real quick because I saw something on the internet earlier today. And I might be being too uptight here, but it was this overweight woman that was dressed as Lara Croft Tomb Raider, and the meme said refrigerator.
What?
Yeah, and so like, okay, the jokester in me sees that, and I'm like, okay, I get it. You're telling a joke, and haha. But the other part of me is more in the thinking of this person's doing a cosplay. They're trying their best. Sure, they don't fit the Lara Croft mold of super skinny big boobs, which isn't Lara Croft anymore, but she was in the old Lara Croft outfit.
Right.
But she's trying. She's doing a cosplay, and it was a good cosplay. Like, why put people down for that? Because I don't do exactly. I don't do cosplay, but I am a fat guy, and if I was to dress up as Iron Man, I would definitely be a fat Iron Man. But judge the person on the quality of their cosplay, not the quality of their body.
My Iron Man would be Iron Flab.
and I embrace the fact that I'm overweight. Like, it is what it is. Like, we make jokes about that all the time. I mean, both of us this year have been trying to lose some weight, and we have, but we're still overweight guys.
So I'm eating Juju fruits.
Yeah, as I just ate 3 tacos after having dinner a few hours ago. I swear, you come into town, Lance, and I'm like, let me be fat. Mm-hmm. The tacos weren't even that good. Disappointing. Flub on those. Flub on the tacos. Too much guac.
That's why you go to Arizona.
Yeah, it's true. Dude, there's some good taco trucks here. There are. But
yeah,
there's not very good tacos at like the normal restaurants. Anyway, let's move into one more Fab or Flub, and then we're going to talk about 4 different movies that we've been watching, as well as have a quick discussion on The Mandalorian.
That's what Max and I do when we get together. We just watch a ton of movies.
Yeah, no, we went to the theater 3 times.
Yeah.
And we already talked about Frozen 2 and Ford v Ferrari. Mm-hmm. So, and then we went again and we saw 21 Bridges, and then we also watched a couple movies at my house. And
yeah, so tonight we're talking about 21 Bridges.
Yeah.
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yep.
Mandalorian. And Force Awakens.
And Freaks.
And Freaks.
Yeah,
which was surprisingly good.
It was really good.
Yeah,
we'll get more into that in a minute. But the last Fab or Flub, I just wanted to talk real briefly. The Boys Season 2 trailer came out. And
it looks good. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's a teaser. It's not showing you a lot. All we know is it's coming out next year. I mean, hey, it doesn't show us much, but I think it's kind of cool that we already have a teaser. It looks kind of cool. It looks real gory. Like even more so than last season.
Yeah, the first scene is what's his name?
Homelander, right?
Homelander flying down from the sky and he's just covered in blood.
Yeah. You see like almost every character in that trailer, their face is like covered in blood. Except for, and I'm forgetting her name right now.
The hot girl?
She is very pretty. Yeah, the superhero who's a good guy.
Oh, she's fine.
She's got that girl next door look to me. She's real pretty.
I wish I lived next door to her. She doesn't live next door to me, I can tell you that much.
She is very pretty. It's true. And she's back in the skimpier outfit. It looks to me, based on that teaser, that she's playing along. That she's like pretending to be part of the 7. She needs to
infiltrate.
Yeah, and exactly. Now that she's on the side of the boys, I think she's like, all right, I'm going to play the part of the cute little Starlight. I think that is her name, right? Starlight or something like that. Mm-hmm. But it looks like she's playing the part so that she can infiltrate them and help take them down from within. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I hope we learn a lot more about Black Noir, because he was an intriguing character, but we didn't learn anything about him.
No, I think he's being saved.
Yeah, he was in the teaser quite a bit, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really not in the original show that much, and it makes him that much more interesting.
I just want more Simon Pegg.
Yeah, he wasn't in it at all.
Yeah,
he may not be much in the show because he's just the dad of the main character.
Anything,
but he doesn't play a prominent role in season 1, at least.
Yeah, no, he's awesome, man.
Starlight. Yep, that's right. And then
what's the actress's name?
Starlight.
I just need material for later.
Jeez. Erin Moriarty.
Erin Moriarty.
Yes. What else is she in? I think she just looks like somebody else.
She does. She looks a little bit like.
She looks like the iZombie girl.
She does look like the iZombie girl a little bit.
Yeah. Who's Alice Eve?
She was in Star Trek and Men in Black.
Which Star Trek was she in?
The second one with Chris Pine?
Oh, was she the daughter of like that lieutenant or whatever?
She's the hot blonde.
Okay. Man, you're real superficial today, Lance.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm looking at everything else. Kong Skull Island, but she's not even like, she's hardly in that. Bar Guest.
Alice Eve?
Yeah, Jessica Jones, that's right. She was.
No, I just looked up a picture of Alice Eve. She doesn't look like Alice Eve.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, Erin Moriarty was Jessica Jones.
Into Darkness she was in. Alice Eve.
Into Darkness. I don't think I saw that one. But Hope Schlottman is who she is in Jessica Jones. That's where I remembered her from, was from Jessica Jones. It's like, I knew I've seen this
Erin
girl.
Moriarty?
Yeah, she's the she's like one of the victims of the Purple Man.
Really?
She's the one that goes to jail, and
But she's not the main girl, the talk show girl.
no.
Who's
She's a side character.
Because she looks kind of like the talk show girl. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I can't remember that actress's name now. Well, let's go to Jessica Jones TV series. Let's find out, because she's going to be right at the top. Trish is the character's name.
Trish.
Rachel Taylor is Trish.
Yeah, they look. Rachel Taylor kind of looks like a older version.
They look
of
similar.
her.
They look similar.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both just blonde white chicks.
Yeah, maybe I'm racist. Maybe all blonde white girls look the same to me.
I mean, you're technically not white.
I know.
You're Hispanic. Just throwing that out there. We have a diverse
I'm
podcast
not
here.
Hispanic. I'm Latino.
Latino. My apologies.
Hispanics and Latinos are very different.
Argentine. Okay, I know
Many
that.
Hispanics are Latinos, but not all Latinos are Hispanic.
We're gonna have a conversation offline. I'm confused right now.
Hispanic means you're from like Mexico or something like that. My family's from Argentina. They're not Hispanic. We're Latino.
I guess I need to do.
All Hispanics are
brush up.
Latinos. Not all Latinos are Hispanics.
Okay, that makes sense. But I thought Hispanic was more than just a Mexico term.
No, it's from Spain. Hispanic is from Spain. My family lineage is not.
Well,
I do have family from Spain.
Well,
but
you are my Latino hermano. Okay. All right.
Latino. How do you say hetero life mate?
My Spanish isn't that good. I don't know. Amigo de vida hetero, probably something like that. I don't know.
You say no sexo.
No sexo.
No sexo muy straighto.
You are the Latino, man.
Yeah,
you should
dude.
know.
I have no idea. I'm taking Spanish right now in college, and
I speak more Spanish than you do.
Yeah, you do.
I speak Portuguese.
Horrible.
When I went to Spain, I was able to speak some pretty good Spanish.
Don't mind me. I'm just fixing my beard here.
Yeah, I do this like all episode. Anytime I go back to rewatch them, I'm like,
just noticing a lot of flare out here. You know,
flare out,
and you're just gotta be pretty in case my wife ever wises up. And
Abraham beard, Abraham Lincoln beard.
I gotta stay pretty in case my wife wises up and leaves me.
All right, so let's move into the movies we've been watching all week. Do we want to tie The Mandalorian and Force Awakens together and kind of end on Star Wars? All right. Well, then let's start with Freaks 2018. This is a lesser-known movie. Let's not spoil it, because I think that this is a really great movie to.
So we rented it on Fandango.
Yes.
Right? Because I had some credits with Fandango.
Yeah, I say Freaks 2018 because if you Google Freaks, the movie, it brings up something from like 1932.
Yeah.
It's harder to find this movie.
Are you saying it's 2019 though?
It was made in 2018. It
So
was released.
It
was released in Canada at the Toronto Film Festival in 2018. Released in the U.S. in 2019 in September.
Okay.
So if you Google Freaks 2018, you'll find it.
Well, an easy way to find it too is Emil Hirsch, who you did not recognize, but I've recognized from Speed Racer and Darkest Hour and movies like that, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's in it. He plays the father. And the reason this movie was so good is that Netflix is trying to do something similar with there's a show on Netflix about a kid with special abilities. He can like teleport and stuff, like crazy special abilities, and the name escapes me right now.
Is it iBoy?
Not iBoy.
I think that was a movie.
But the boy in that that show sucks. Like is no good. Is absolutely no good. He's the worst acting I've ever seen. Half the time you're catching him looking at the camera. He gives these like puzzled looks on his faces, like the director is basically like playing with his face like Play-Doh. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So it's like and it's a young kid, right?
He's a young kid. He's not gonna. There's nothing.
Is it Raising Dion?
Yes, Raising Dion.
Okay, I've heard about that. I've heard good things from other people, but
the
acting's bad, is what you're saying?
His acting is particularly bad.
Okay.
When and especially when you hold it in comparison to the little girl in Freaks.
Oh my gosh, she was so good.
She was so good. Like, she
Look up
gives
her
these,
name. Not that anyone's gonna know who she is, but I'm still gonna. I'm
she
gonna to give her credit.
she gives these looks of like, a lot of her powers derive, like, she's like focusing really hard in the camera, and like the camera's just panning all on just her face, and she looks so intense, and she's like manipulating grown people to like stab themselves in the eye with a freaking screwdriver and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, without
no spoilers.
You figured this out pretty quickly. I'm not going to give any more spoilers from that effect, but the little girl is fantastic.
Yeah.
The acting in this movie is very, very good.
It's extremely good. Her name is Lexi Colker, by the way. She was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the last season.
Yeah, she
season
plays
6.
Hope. Wasn't her name Hope?
Robin Hinton.
Robin.
She was like the seer that could see
Right.
in the future, draw pictures and stuff. And she did good in that too.
And Agent May becomes like her
mother figure
for a couple episodes, I think.
Yeah, and she is outstanding in this.
Oh, she's fantastic.
And she's 7. She's like 7. Like in real life, she's like a 7-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And in the movie, she's 7. And okay, she was born in 2009, so that would have meant she was 9 when this movie came out.
She's 10 right now.
So she's 10 now. But
so she
really, really well done.
One thing you have to remember is that this is a lower budget movie.
Yes.
Talking about, it's essentially a good X-Men movie.
Right?
Really, we were talking about that.
Is.
It deals with the concept of mutants and stuff without ever actually saying mutants. They're called freaks in this thing. But it's low budget. So the special effects budget wasn't there. Like, there were some scenes that you could tell were just, it's not Disney quality or Fox or
but there was
Sony
really
or
only like one, and I don't want to ruin it because it was kind of fun to find out the power. Like you learn early on that her dad, they call them freaks, anyone that has superpowers. You learn early on that her dad is a freak, but you don't find out until about probably near the end of the second act what his power is.
Right.
And it's when he uses his power that the graphics, the
CGI
is a little bad.
Eyebrow raising.
Yeah, but like, it's a low budget movie. The acting is so good. Everything else is so good that it doesn't bug me. You know,
right?
I absolutely adored this movie. It was,
and really we rented it on a whim.
Yeah, it was just like,
we were like, "Would you really want to watch something?" My wife really wants to watch something.
Yeah,
and we were gonna watch that, or what was the other one we were looking at?
I don't even know. I was
The Kitchen.
We were looking at so many different movies, and none of them sounded interesting to me that I kind of just got to this point where I was like, just pick a movie, I'll watch it. And I wasn't particularly that interested in this. I was just like, let's just pick a movie. And I'm really glad that you guys chose it because it was really good.
So this movie only made $333,000 in the box office.
Yeah.
Very low.
Yeah.
Very low. But it has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is low for this, in my opinion.
88% is certified fresh.
No, so. I know. 88's really good. I think this should be in the 90s. It was really good. I can't think of anything really negative to say about it.
Yeah.
You know, especially for the budget. You know, that's my thing.
It might just be the fact that the CGI just wasn't there.
Sure. And I guess I can forgive
to see what their budget was, and I can't find it.
Yeah, I was trying to see if IMDb maybe says it. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, that's IMDb Pro. Let's say that kind of stuff. This says the Metascore is only 63.
So it's not yet out on Blu-ray. It'll be available for Blu-ray on December 10th, 2019.
So
but it is currently on iTunes and Video on Demand. Which
so if you're listening to the podcast, it's going to come out tomorrow. If you're listening the day the podcast releases. Because we release the podcast on Mondays. That's the 9th.
Yeah, okay. If you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you're watching YouTube, it is not tomorrow.
Correct. But December 10th, do the math. You know. Yeah, you guys, yeah. But yeah, it was really good. Acting was phenomenal. Directing was good. The story was good. Like you said, a good X-Men movie. Because it's essentially that same storyline of, it's different than X-Men, but it's the same idea. You have these super-powered mutants. They call them freaks. People hate them.
They're being hunted down.
This is a world, though, where, like, most of them have been hunted down.
Right.
And it's, like, kill on sight. Whereas the mutant stories, there are some stories like that. Clearly, Days of Future Past, that's what it was. But this is one where the regular humans had an overwhelming victory because the world is still, it's not in shambles like Days of Future Past where
Right.
a lot of the world is in ruins. Some of it is. I think they showed, was it Chicago or was it Austin? Dallas, Texas. Yeah. Dallas was like destroyed by freaks. They didn't give a ton of context on that.
Well, they talk briefly about it.
Yeah.
What the catastrophe that happened.
Yeah, it's enough. You know that some freaks went out of control and destroyed the city.
And that's the reason
why you don't know
where they're at today.
Yeah.
Why they're trying to get rid of all these people. So
yeah. You know what it kind of reminds me of, and I bear with me here. I'm gonna just look this up because I can't remember. I'm typing his name in wrong. Code 8. That's what it is. Code 8 with Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell.
It's not out yet, though, right?
No, it's not out yet. But it kind of gives me the similar vibe of superpowered people who are being hunted down by the government, lower budget indie movie.
Right.
And Code 8 isn't out yet. I think if I look it up,
I think Code 8 though has a bigger budget.
It probably
they
does.
Went on Kickstarter and raised a ton of money.
Oh wow! It comes out December 13th. I wonder if I'm gonna have to look to see if it's coming to my theater because that'd be a fun one to talk about on the show. Shoot.
Yeah.
But that's this upcoming weekend. And I'll have to check my theater, but yeah, it just gives me a similar vibe.
Very good reviews.
It's got 7.6 on IMDb. That's a better score than
the first one I saw
Freaks.
was review. Sorry, Stephen Amell. Code 8 is no Arrow, which might be a good thing.
That could be a good thing. Man, I need to catch up on that. I do like Arrow, but my point being is that it gives me that same vibe, less sci-fi. Code 8 is very sci-fi, but yeah. What would you rate this movie?
4 out of 5.
Okay, I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5 and a throw pillow. So 4.5.
Okay,
I think is what I'd give it.
Yeah, this movie raised the Code 8 raised 2.5 million.
Oh wow!
From Indiegogo.
So it raised more money than Freaks made in the box office.
Yeah, so they have a bigger budget.
Yeah,
and Stephen Amell and Robbie Amell are no slouches, and they're also bankrolling this.
I think they're big names. Yeah. Stephen Amell, bigger, of course. Okay, well, let's move on to another movie that we saw. We went to the theater on Tuesday night, I think. No, Thursday.
No, today.
To see 21 Bridges.
Last night?
Oh, no, it was Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, because I didn't have work the next morning.
Yes.
Yeah, we went and saw 21 Bridges on Wednesday.
Why is nobody talking about this movie? I enjoyed this movie a lot.
People really aren't. And
the theater was empty.
It was literally us, which was kind of fun. But I don't like that when a movie's good.
So it has a 6.6 on IMDb, 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, 91% on Fandango,
51 on Metacritic.
But I think it's.
I mean, it doesn't need a sequel, so I don't really care that it didn't make.
Oh, it doesn't need a sequel at all. It's one of those.
It's a standalone
cop thriller drama things. Like it's. We don't need to see a progressing story from this. It's a good standalone film. But what I did enjoy from it was the performance from Taylor Kitsch. I thought it was really well.
His was really good.
And his partner, which is Stephen James. Taylor Kitsch is the bad guy.
Oh, Taylor's sorry.
Yeah,
Taylor's
Chadwick Boseman is the cop. His partner is Sienna Miller, but the Taylor Kitsch and Stephen James did a really good job. Yeah, playing bad guys. And
Stephen James, I think, even better.
Yeah,
he got more screen time though.
Yeah, he got more screen time. It mostly revolves around him.
Yeah,
because it talks about his brother and everything like that. But Chadwick Boseman, it's weird. Chadwick Boseman, I like Chadwick Boseman, but I don't love Chadwick Boseman, like in anything he does. And I don't know if it's the way, like his dialect, like the way he speaks. Because in this movie, I feel like he's gritting his teeth a lot. Like I don't know when it's weird. It's hard to explain because there was times that I didn't quite catch what he was saying because of how he was delivering it. That's not to say it's a bad performance. It just, I don't know. It's almost like he was trying so hard to be a hard ass because he has like this swagger to him.
Where is he from originally? South Carolina. So, because it didn't sound like to me that his his New York accent was natural. It did sound like he was working really hard at it.
Right.
Which is also the case for his accent for Wakanda.
Yeah, I have a hard time with his accent in Black Panther too.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's what I know him most from is from Black Panther. So when the movie started playing and he had an accent, I'm like, wait, is that a Wakandan accent? Like, that's a really weird Wakandan accent because it was New York, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen him in other stuff. He was Jackie Robinson in 42.
Yeah, and in 42, really, I don't remember him having a hard time understanding him. I don't know if it was trying to add this swagger to him or something like that, but that would probably be the one bad thing I would say. And it's not, his performance isn't bad, mind you. No. It's just sometimes you have a hard time hearing what he's saying.
I didn't have a hard time hearing what he was saying, but there were a couple times where the accent just fell off for me. Mm-hmm. But I did think that he did a good job in the sense that because most of what I remember Chadwick Boseman from is Black Panther, I came in and I'm like, all right, is this going to be Black Panther as a cop? And it wasn't. It felt like a very different character.
Especially because that's kind of how they frame it. They kept tying the Russo brothers into this movie.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking like, oh, it's going to have a kind of feel of a Marvel movie. You know, plus they have Chadwick Boseman in it, J.K. Simmons. Who else was in there from Marvel movies? There was someone else.
I don't think anybody else was from Marvel. Yeah, I mean,
sorry guys, we are
Keith David, but he's not in Marvel. He's just a well-known actor. I think that's it for Marvel stuff.
Just the two of them?
I think so. But at any rate, it was really good. His role was really good. Sienna Miller did a great job, I thought. J.K. Simmons, I always like seeing J.K. Simmons. Stephen James, Taylor Kitsch's partner, he was probably the best performance in the entire movie.
Yeah, he was very good.
Even
though I love Taylor Kitsch,
Taylor Kitsch's character just wasn't as interesting. Like Taylor Kitsch did a good job, and I enjoyed it, but like his character Ray was kind of just one note.
His bad guy character in American Assassin was much better.
Yeah, his bad guy in this was just like, I'm a bad ex-military guy who can kill anybody that gets in my way.
Yeah, it wasn't
multi-dimensional. And I've got a lot of anger. He wasn't, his character wasn't that great.
Right.
Michael, Stephen James's character, was fantastic.
Yeah.
He had more depth to him. He had a personality. He had more.
Well, it gives him a backstory too. Like it talks about his brother and why he went into the military, why he was discharged, and it talks about why he synced up with Taylor Kitsch's character Ray. You know, it talks about how smart he was. He just had much more of a backstory. He probably had the most fleshed out backstory
of anybody, even more than Chadwick Boseman's character.
Yeah, and Chadwick Boseman, the whole movie starts with his backstory. Yeah, you know, but
which wouldn't be a spoiler to say. His backstory is that his father was a cop who got killed in the line of service.
Yeah, you find out in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I think it's in the trailer.
They're sitting in a funeral in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's just first scene.
But it kind of what drives him to police work.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a very good movie.
I did like his character though quite a bit in the sense that like he is like all for justice. He's a cop that's for justice, and he'll do what's necessary. He's criticized as being
not black and white.
No, but he's criticized as being the guy who will kill criminals because he's killed like 7 criminals in the last 8 years or something like that. But it's not black and white. Like he's very much. He tells people whenever they bring it up to him, I only fire my weapon when it needs to be fired, and I don't fire first.
Right.
And that actually is something that happens in the movie. He fires his weapon a bunch more because it's an action movie. But I don't think I ever saw him fire first. He always was the second one to fire in like every circumstance.
So he's not Han Solo?
No, he is not. He's a good guy, but this movie's grounded in reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's got some fantastic elements to it.
Yeah.
But it is more grounded in the sense that like killing someone has more of an impact than like in a John Wick movie.
Yeah.
You know, like a big part of the movie is that Stephen James and Taylor Kitsch's characters, Michael and Ray, kill 7 cops, and that's what the main story is about.
Taylor Kitsch's character kills.
Yes, Taylor Kitsch's character.
That's why you end up feeling so bad for the Michael character is that
he didn't.
He's just kind of thrown into the situation.
He's a victim of circumstance.
Yes.
He was an accessory.
He put himself into that circumstance.
Yes.
But
Yeah, but it was really good. It is getting late, so maybe we'll move on to our next.
What do you
thing.
want to rate this movie?
I wanted to give it a 4, but I think 3.5.
I think 3 out of 5 is a good rating.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to movie number 3, Peanut Butter Falcon.
My favorite of the movies that we are reviewing. We just watched this movie. We finished it, an hour and a half ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And it was just... Okay, so Matt from Absolute Geek Podcast is a big reason why I wanted to see this movie to begin with, because it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. I felt like, don't you think? Like,
I hadn't really heard of it until
I didn't
we were
hear about it until
podcasting,
Matt told me.
and then
about
Matt said something in our chat,
Yeah.
and that was like the first I had heard of it.
So we watched it with our wives. I actually purchased it because I was taking that much blind faith into what Matt was saying about this movie. And I think Shia LaBeouf is going to go down as one of the greatest actors of our generation. Like, every performance he gives, even going back as far as Even Stevens, right? Which Even Stevens is supposed to be stupid and very slapstick and things like that. But you even go back that far, and you can tell he's delivering his all in every performance. Now, Transformers, he's admitted he was bored, right? So you can't really count Transformers because it was a big budget movie. It was kind of where he made his money. But if you call Holes, Peanut Butter Falcon, what are some other big ones that he's been in? Fury, which he still has the scars on his face.
Yeah, I noticed that.
You know,
Nymphomaniac Volumes 1 and 2. I haven't seen those ones, but
you don't
those
want to.
No, I know I don't. But like Lawless, his role in Lawless was fantastic.
But
Evil Eye was good too from 08.
Disturbia.
Indiana Jones, not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been in a lot of good movies, and he is a really good actor, especially from 2012 and on. I mean, and he was good before that, but like after the Transformer movies, he's really stepped up his game.
Yeah, what was the last Transformers movie he did? It was 2011, right?
Yeah.
He did Wall Street Money Never Sleeps, which he was pretty good in that one. But since Transformers ended and he started being really selective, let me see here. You have American Honey. You have Fury, you have Lawless, Nymphomaniac, Peanut Butter Falcon, Honey Boy, which I'm very excited to see, especially now that I've finished Peanut Butter Falcon. But he's going to go down as one of the greatest actors of our generation. I mean,
yeah, I think you're right.
And now there's a rumor that he's potentially being looked at as the role of Moon Knight, which I don't think he doesn't strike me as the kind of person that would do it.
Yeah, I don't know that I want him as an action hero. I like him as a drama actor.
But Moon Knight is more than just an action character. It doesn't have to be straight action.
No, I know.
It could be his opportunity to do action, but also have a character with a lot of depth, because the character of Moon Knight has so many demons and so many issues that might be just the kind of thing that Shia LaBeouf would be good at.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what the latest news regarding him is.
Okay. Well, while you do that, I'm going to talk about...
So you got to take this with a grain of salt, because the first one I see is from We Got This Covered.
Yeah, I think I've made it clear how I feel about them.
But
I loved this movie, though. I really, really loved this movie. Like you said, Shia LaBeouf was great, and there's not really a big cast. Yeah, is it Shia LaBeouf or Shia LaBeouf?
I've heard Shia LaBeouf. I've heard Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf. No, I never heard Shia LaBeouf.
Okay,
that's the first time I've ever heard that. I don't think it's Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. I'm gonna say that.
That's what most people say.
Yeah, and then Dakota Johnson and Zach Gottsagen, who has Down syndrome, and he plays the character that has Down syndrome. Those are like the three main cast, and they're all fantastic. Dakota Johnson, the least of the three, but there's nothing wrong with her performance. She just doesn't have as much.
It's just not a lot there.
It's mostly about Tyler and Zach. Tyler being Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, she's pretty. And then it's funny that Zach, the character is Zach, and the actor is Zach. But that young man, I say young man, I don't even know how old he is. He looks.
Well, in the movie, he's apparently 22.
1985, so he's older than me.
Oh, he's
But
my age.
He was great. April 22nd. So you think what? You're a little older than him, right?
A month.
Like a month.
Month and a half.
Yeah. He was great.
Well,
And
there's
so much
rumors
heart
that he's
because of
being considered for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and I think it's deserved to at least be nominated.
Yeah.
Like, he was that good, and you can tell, like, because he's playing a character with Down syndrome, so when he's struggling with the lines, it almost seems as if his character is just struggling to speak, and it adds to the character.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's very, very good.
It's authentic because it is authentic.
Yeah, it's very much authentic. It's one of the things that what's another Speechless? Have you ever watched that on ABC? It got canceled this last season.
No, I haven't.
The main character is mute, hence the name Speechless. He has the disability that he has in this show, and it's kind of what adds to the authenticity of it. It's not just an abled person playing a disabled person.
Well, A Quiet Place. One of the actresses is deaf.
Yeah,
and you could tell.
Yeah,
I
think they understand.
If you're going to show a disability, hire someone with that disability. You know, it's just so much more authentic and it's better. I love it. So you can see a difference between this young man who has Down syndrome and I say young man, this guy who has Down syndrome and he's playing his role, and someone who doesn't have Down syndrome and they're acting like they do.
Like The Ringer.
Yeah, and it's not that they do terrible jobs, but like they're sometimes going into like caricatures of Down syndrome rather than legitimately how they are. You know, I loved how this movie handled it. You know, there were characters, takes place in like the South, I think Georgia, and some characters are calling him retarded and just being rude to him. And I liked how they portrayed that and how Shia LaBeouf's character, Mike, is that right? Tyler, how he handled that. I loved it. His character like starts off so cold and like not really that nice to Zach, but man, they grow in their relationship, and it's just beautiful and heartwarming. It's funny, you know, such a good movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. In fact, I remember saying something in the movie about Shia LaBeouf and really putting his life together and stuff like that. And then the first thing I see on my computer is apparently he was arrested during the filming.
Oh, man.
For public indecentness. He asked a police officer and someone else for a cigarette, and they wouldn't give him one, and he went crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's funny because like a week ago we were talking about how he's been putting his life back together.
Well, he was on the Ellen show doing something, talking about Honey Boy or something like that, and how he doesn't touch alcohol anymore. And this movie was filmed in 2017, so he's probably still going through his sobriety.
Oh, at the point of that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
But the movie is just, every role in it is fantastically played. I mean, there's Dakota Johnson she didn't do anything wrong. She just didn't do anything that memorable besides being the love interest for Shia LaBeouf. I mean, I think that's really the only thing that's offered from her. I mean, you go through a period of the movie where you really don't like her because you feel like she's trying to she's not trying to, but she's unknowingly keeping Zach down. But it's just it's a film that champions individuality. It's a film that champions human beings in general. Like
it champions family outside of biological family.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's so important. Like they use the line, and it's cliche, but it's a good line of friends are the family you choose.
Yeah.
You know, and I think family in biological or legal, however you want it. I mean, my wife and I fostered, so family to us isn't just biological, but like that family, you know, that you grow up with, that's really important. Those bonds can't be broken. But the family you choose, like Lance and I consider each other brothers. I'm uncle to his kids, and you know, if my wife and I ever have kids, he'll be uncle to them, and his wife will be aunt, and you know, like we're family. And I love that. This is championing that idea. It's just a beautiful movie.
Yeah, it's fantastically done. And And I want to see Shia LaBeouf in more of those roles, like just human roles. And I think that's why I'm so interested in watching Honey Boy. It's a human role, and it's about his life.
Yeah,
which makes it even more appealing.
Yeah, and it's in theaters now. I don't think it's in my theater though.
I think it's very select,
limited release. Yeah, because like if I go to like the Cinemark by me and try to look it up, I don't think I would see it.
Carefree Circle.
Yeah, is it there?
Yeah, 11 a.m., 1:35,
nice.
4:05, 6:45.
Nice. Well, I'm not dying to see it this instant, but that's good to know. But what would you rate it?
I would rate it. It's hard for me to give 5 out of 5, but I think this is a movie that's because I can't think of anything wrong with this movie. Besides, it was too short.
It was short, but I thought it was perfectly short.
I would have liked to see more, but I'm not saying that's a detriment to the movie. So I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay. I also would give it a 5 out of 5. I don't have anything negative to say about it at all. Thought it was fantastic.
No, and it's a good recommendation from Matt. So thank you, Matt, for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's talk about Star Wars now, and we are going to get into spoilers. I mean, we're going to talk about the Force Awakens after we talk about the Mandalorian. I don't imagine that if you're listening to the show, you haven't watched the Force Awakens. But we are going to talk about it. And
we're going to spoil Mandalorian as well, right?
Yeah, we'll spoil the latest episode of the Mandalorian. To be honest, I don't think there's that much to spoil. I thought it was the weakest episode yet. It wasn't bad, but it was definitely the weakest.
I'm trying to figure out what the point of the whole episode was.
This one definitely felt fillery to me.
Yeah, it didn't push along the story. It didn't, because everybody involved dies. Like any new characters that were shown, except the lady that fixed his ship.
Yeah.
But anybody that kind of looked like they could potentially become a future.
Yeah, Ming-Na Wen seemed like a really interesting character.
Agent May, or whatever.
Although based on the little
you thought that someone was
she's alive.
Yeah, that was the only thing that could be something that would be part of the story later. Who is this?
But that was literally it was like an after credit stinger. Not really. It was right before the credits, but it was like a tease. Like that. It felt like a wasted episode.
Yeah, and when you only have 8 episodes, it's not smart to have one that's a waste.
Yeah, I mean, so here I'll go for some positives real quick. Positives. Tatooine. Yeah. It was really cool to go back to Tatooine and Mos Eisley Cantina. And like to see some of these locales again. Like as a big Star Wars fan, Lance and I watched it together and I was like, ooh, that's where the Millennium Falcon takes off.
I don't have the nostalgia like you do.
Well, I do. So like he lands in the same location in A New Hope where Han Solo, Luke, Obi-Wan, Chewie, where they leave with the Millennium Falcon, like when the stormtroopers are shooting at them, the exact same port. I mean, it could be technically a different one, but it looks the exact same. So that was cool to see that. And then the Mos Eisley Cantina, you see literally the same exact seat, and you can tell based on positioning in the bar with the cameras, that's exactly where Han shot Greedo. And that's where the Mandalorian meets that character that I can't remember his name.
Which I recognized that one. When you said something, I recognized that.
Yeah.
But
like that, those were some of my positives. Tusken Raiders being in it was a cool touch. But even like the fight sequences weren't that good. Like compared to some previous weeks, it was just kind of weak. And then
just a blah.
What was really bad was the opening scene, man. That was cringeworthy.
Yeah.
The opening scene where you have this bounty hunter shooting the Mandalorian in his jet. Now, how the Mandalorian got out of it was cool, but there were some lines there that I was just like,
it was just
this
stupid.
Is really bad.
Like
this is
1940s.
It felt like the prequels level of writing. It was awful.
Yeah,
it was really bad. I wouldn't give the episode as a whole like a terrible rating. I maybe would give it under a 3 though. I'd probably give it a 2.5.
I think
maybe even down to
it's a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, it was not a good episode. All the other episodes to me have been 4 to 4.5.
I'm just trying to figure out what it offered to the story besides that last little credit. Because it introduces this character that you think like, oh, is he kind of like trying to kind of act like Han Solo a little bit, but he doesn't have
he was annoying.
He was annoying. And then you have Agent May and you're like, oh, Agent May.
She was cool.
She was cool. And then they kill her. And you're like, okay, that was a waste of a very good actress, like
Yeah, and then they do this whole plot where, because they capture Ming-Na Wen, she was the bounty, and the Mandalorian was helping that guy to get the bounty. And then they capture her. The Mandalorian has to go off on his own to get an extra ride. And then Ming-Na Wen's character convinces that other bounty hunter to turn on the Mandalorian.
yeah, because
And
Mandalorian is kind of a not rebel. What's the say?
Well, he's got a bounty out on him.
Yeah,
and so he does turn on him, and he kills Ming-Na Wen in the process, which was stupid. I'm like, why don't you take both bounties, you idiot?
yeah.
You have a speeder, put her on the speeder. Like, that was dumb.
It seemed an incredible waste of a good talent. And
the Mandalorian took him out with such ease, which I'm glad he did, because the character was an idiot. The Mandalorian should have been able to take him out with ease. It just, the threats weren't really there as much.
It just didn't seem.
And Baby Yoda wasn't in it as much.
Yeah, he was off being babysat, but it just seemed like it was an episode. Like they just needed an episode there to just put an episode there.
Which sucks when you have 8 episodes.
Yeah, I can understand if
3
you have
left.
20 episodes. It's hard to push a good story along with 20 episodes. But it was just a waste. I hated it.
I didn't hate it, but it was a waste.
You're a much bigger Star Wars fan than me. So somebody that's not a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I got some out of the nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have any theories about who that guy at the end was?
No, I don't know as much as you do. You had said that maybe you thought it was Boba Fett.
I think it could be. I wanted to ask that because behind me, here we go. Behind me is this cool thing that Lance got me. It's a Boba Fett picture. I'm not the biggest Boba Fett fan, but I love Star Wars. And I don't know, maybe it's not Boba Fett, but I got the thought that it was a Mandalorian based on like
somebody that they didn't show his face, and that has to be deliberate.
Yeah,
so it has to be somebody that we know,
someone important.
Yeah, or it could be somebody that he met in the first episode or something that they just don't want us to know yet that they're following. We don't know. But I would put my money on somebody that we would recognize.
I don't think this is who it is, but it could maybe be the girl from the last episode. She's following him.
But why wouldn't they show the face?
It's true. And she wouldn't really wear a cape, I don't think. So
no, I don't remember wearing a cape. And why would she be so secretive? Because it seemed like they ended on a good note.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think it's her. Yeah, other than that stinger, it didn't move anything along. Baby Yoda was hardly in it. It wasn't really any like super cute moments with it. They actually, you asked me, they're like, do they always play that baby sound? Because they played it a lot more. It has been in the other episodes, but this episode, for some reason, they played that baby cooing sound.
It was noticeable.
A lot more. And I think they did it to be
not
cute.
Like them. It was almost too much.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The way they shot it this time, you could tell that it was an animatronic rather than a cool alien. Just it wasn't a good episode. I'm disappointed. No. Hopefully next week they can redeem themselves and it'll be good again. And then the week after that is the the penultimate episode. There's 3 left. Okay. So we got 3 episodes left. The week of Christmas will be the last one. But let's talk about The Force Awakens. This is something we wanted to do leading up to Rise of Skywalker. We wanted to talk about each of the new trilogy. So we're starting with Force Awakens. Next week we will do Rise or The Last Jedi and then Rise of Skywalker. Do you want to rate it, or do we just want to talk about
it? Rate The Force Awakens?
Yeah. I don't know if we did. No, we didn't. We weren't doing the podcast back then, so we haven't ever reviewed that one.
We weren't?
No, it was 2015. We started in 2016.
Oh, wow.
Well, 2017, I think,
Force Awakens, I'd probably give a 3.5.
Okay. So we're doing it at the beginning?
Well, that's not what you just said.
No, I just meant if you wanted to rate it at the end.
Oh.
But I think I'd give it the same. We'll just do it now. 3.5. No, but so The Force Awakens. Sorry, I didn't explain that well. That's on me. The Force Awakens, I enjoy a lot. But like we talked about, it's so similar to A New Hope. It's too similar.
I think that's why I don't like it
as much. I mean, because it's 3.5 and you like it.
I liked it. I just don't it got me into. I did not like Star Wars before that. Remember when that came out? I was not a Star Wars fan. I did not care for Star Wars besides some of the video games that I had played. But The Force Awakens got me kind of into it because there was a little bit more action and things like that than I remember from the first trilogy.
Yeah.
So, but no, I remember we're watching it, and all I kept saying to you, like, how awesome would it be, like, when Finn is running away from Rey, and he's just like, get the F away from me. Like, I feel like these movies just, I want a little bit more spice on them, and I'm not getting it.
I get what you mean. It's funny that you say it because as we were watching it, I also was thinking it would have been funny if when they were at the part of the movie where Finn is breaking Poe out, there's a part where Poe says he wants to go back to Jakku, and Finn says, "Are you kidding me?" And I thought to myself, it would have been pretty funny if he says, "Are you shitting me?"
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to hear F words. I wouldn't be against Star Wars being a little bit more PG-13 than it is. I don't think it's necessary. I think "Are you kidding me?" is fine. But I don't know. I think Star Wars is good as a kid's show and as a family show, but I think it could be fun to have.
I just like a little bit more spice with my action movies a little bit. I think Marvel, you get a little bit more spice.
Well, we still don't have any F words. Even in the Daredevil shows and like the Netflix shows didn't even have F words.
Yeah, you don't have F words, but there's still more spice.
Punisher might have had one, actually.
I think Punisher had a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Because
such a good show.
Yeah, it's a great show. But you get a little bit more spice. I mean, sometimes they say shit and stuff like that. Like, I would have liked that a little bit from Star Wars. And maybe that would have piqued my interest a little bit more. But
I don't think that's their market, but I get what you mean.
Yeah. That's just my personal preference. It might not work for the franchise as a whole, but
yeah.
But
for me, it's so freaking similar.
Yeah.
That's my big issue is we're looking at a new Death Star, essentially. And they say, oh, it's not a new Death Star. Here was the Death Star. It's like this size. And the, Star Killer base is like this size, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they do that in the movie, but it's a Death Star, except for on
looks
steroids.
Identical.
Yeah, and much bigger, but like.
And if they didn't put that graphic of the little Death Star next to this big one, you would think it was the same size.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like in some regards, I don't mind it. No, I don't like it, but it works because there was I can't remember what they're called now, but there was a similar kind of base in the books and the Legends material. It's like there's a trilogy. There's the first Thrawn trilogy, and then there's another trilogy after that. And in that trilogy, the Empire is still out and about, and there's this female general. I can't remember her name, but she is working on this project that is using like a sun-oriented, like sun-powered base like that. Right. I don't think it's as big as Starkiller base. I can't remember if they said that. I can't remember the name of it. I think it might even be like the Sun Destroyer or the Sun Killer or something. But it would destroy a sun, essentially destroying the entire solar system around that sun. But it could also be used to like destroy an entire system. So there's precedent for it. But I just don't like that they did it. They didn't need to do it. Like in the books, it was fine because you had like 8 or 9 books before that about totally different things before you brought back in a Death Star type thing.
Right.
And in the books, you can do that. But in the movies, the prequel was about the Death Star. There's a lot of Death Star teases in that.
Right.
And then the original trilogy is about 2 different Death Stars. And then we get another movie, and it's a Death Star. And I'm concerned that Rise of Skywalker is going to be the same thing.
Right.
And I don't want that. I want to see a little bit of newness. What else? There was some other stuff. Oh,
that's
Desert Planet.
MO.
Yeah, we got a desert planet with a character who, I don't have as many issues with Rey as some people do, like the whole Mary Sue thing. I think that we're going to find out, well, J.J. Abrams said we're going to find out why she's so adept in the Force. But I don't think she's a Mary Sue. She has flaws.
What's Mary Sue?
A Mary Sue is like generally, let me just Google the exact definition, but it's essentially a female character without any discernible flaws who's good at everything.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Okay, a type of female character who is depicted as unrealistically lacking in flaws or weaknesses. So, I don't think I think she's borderline on the Mary Sue definition, Rey, but she has flaws. She's impatient. She's a bit impulsive.
Yeah.
She is naive. She's not. She has flaws. She has natural ability in like martial arts, but they showed early on her taking on stormtroopers. So she clearly knows how to handle like a bow staff, and she knows how to handle a blunt weapon.
Yeah.
So when she uses the lightsaber, I can believe that. And I don't love that she beats Kylo Ren, but there are excuses for that.
Well, she only beats Kylo Ren because Chewbacca shot him.
And that's what I always try to tell people. Like, I still don't love that she won. I kind of wish that, like, because the Earth parts right after she beats him. I almost wish it would have just ended that way in a draw, rather than her beating him. I really wish she would have won, but I understand they didn't want the bad guys to win in the first movie.
Right.
But yes, Chewbacca after Kylo Ren kills Han Solo, he shoots him with that freaking boltcaster, and they showed in the movie several times how powerful that thing is. Like, there were times where the boltcaster like blew several stormtroopers away in one shot.
Yeah, and this hits him, and you can tell how strong he is because it penetrates him. It knocks him back. He crouches over. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell like it's a substantial hit. But it also shows how powerful he is because how he took that hit.
Yeah.
But he's wounded.
He is. And then you have Finn, who was a trained stormtrooper. Despite what you think of Finn, he was a trained stormtrooper, so he's going up against a weakened Kylo Ren, who's been trained in the same organization, Yeah. And he wounds him, and then Kylo Ren, beats the crap out of him after that, and then Rey gets in, So we're talking about a guy who's in the fourth quarter, and he's going up against somebody who is just coming in fresh.
Yeah, he's in the fourth quarter, and he has 2 ACL sprains.
yeah, exactly. So I still wish he would have won because they showed how powerful he was at the beginning of the movie. Like, he stops a laser, he can get in people's minds, which I really liked them introducing that new force power. But whatever. I still think it's okay that he lost. Don't love it, but it makes sense.
I think it was necessary for the story.
Yeah, and we'll talk about The Last Jedi later because I don't like that as much. But it's overall an enjoyable movie. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. But it's got some flaws. What else was there? There was some other stuff that was similar to A New Hope.
BB-8.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the same story in that regard too. It's not plans to destroy Starkiller Base, but it's
plans to Luke.
It's a map to Luke,
and
they've got this thing. The Empire, the First Order this time, comes in and is killing everybody. The hero gets captured, but before he or she gets captured, gives away very important information to a droid who is now trapped on a desert planet, gets rescued by the hero, and the hero then delivers the droid to the good guys. In
this case, Daisy gets the plan and she goes herself she doesn't deliver it to anybody. She goes herself to get Luke.
No, Luke does the same thing in A New Hope.
No, but
Luke goes and delivers. Like he goes and rescues Leia. There's not the rescue mission part like A New Hope has, but they go to the rebellion in A New Hope and they bring R2-D2 with them,
right?
With the Death Star plans, and that's the same thing in this. They go to the Resistance with BB-8.
Yeah,
I guess the Resistance kind of comes to them, but the point they were trying to go to the Resistance.
It's pretty similar.
That's what I'm saying. It's really
90% similar.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't like about it. It was too similar.
Yeah.
But you have any other thoughts on it?
No, you pretty much capped them. I mean, I like that it's updated, but you're right. There's no originality there. I hope that this new one is something that we haven't seen before, but I'm worried it's not going to be because J.J. Abrams is actually directing this one, and it's hard too because Rian Johnson tried to give us something a little different.
He just went too far. People
revolted. So you've kind of clipped these people's wings because now they're afraid to do anything different. Because Hell knows no fury like a Star Wars fan scorned.
It's true, but other than this most recent episode of The Mandalorian, they gave us something a bit different, and we've loved it.
Yeah, that's because it's Jon Favreau, but now we went back to J.J. Abrams.
That's what I'm saying, though. You can take risks, and they pay off.
Yeah.
We talked about this on our last episode. Joker is a good example. Shazam. Yeah. But I did have one other thought, because another thing people complain about is Kylo Ren being whiny. And he is. I'll admit that. Bit of an emo boy.
Which is such a shame, because I feel like Adam Driver is so much more than that.
He is. But here's the thing. I would much rather work for Kylo Ren than I would Darth Vader.
There we go.
I think I talked about this to you when we were watching it. Kylo Ren, when he gets pissed off, throws a tantrum, sure, but he destroys a bunch of equipment.
Yeah.
Darth Vader, anytime you pissed him off even a little bit, you got killed. He choked you to death. And then you get promoted, and you're like, crap, I don't want to be promoted. That means I'm next in line for death. Kylo Ren didn't ever kill any of his subordinates.
Right.
He did. He is whiny. He's got his issues.
In fact, the only person he kills is really Han Solo.
Yeah, in the movie. Well, he kills that old man at the beginning. And,
yeah.
Yeah, I think some of the other villagers. I mean, he's a despicable guy.
Right.
I don't know if you knew this, but the tray that he keeps Vader's helmet in is an ashtray of the ashes of his victims.
Oh,
they don't say that in the movie. It's more of backstory stuff, but
I had never heard that.
That's messed up.
Pretty dark.
It's dark. He's a dark character, which is why he's not being redeemed. J.J. Abrams has
Darth Vader
that.
One of his victims?
No. Darth Vader was killed by the Emperor, essentially.
So why does Kylo Ren have his helmet in his ashtray?
Because it's his grandfather, and he looks up to Darth Vader. He aspires to be as powerful.
I understand. That makes sense now.
Because that's what Rey does. Is Rey gets in his head and basically says, "You'll never be as powerful as Darth Vader." That's your biggest fear, which is true. And I liked that.
Yeah,
I liked that. I liked that Vader was tied in. That it was his grandson. I like that Ben's a bad guy because in the Legends material, it's Jason Solo. He is also their kid, and he becomes a Sith eventually. Yeah. So it's the same idea. They just named him Ben instead of Jason. I think the name Ben is stupid because Leia didn't really even meet Obi-Wan Kenobi. So why is she naming her son after Obi-Wan Kenobi? Doesn't make any sense. Luke names his kid Ben when he has kids eventually. That makes sense. He was trained by him and had more of a relationship. But
yeah,
whatever.
Like a father figure.
I digress. I mean, she knew who Obi-Wan was, but she didn't really ever meet him. I don't even know if she did at all, if I think back on it. She saw him die, but I don't even think she meets him in the movie.
I don't remember.
No, she doesn't, because they go to rescue her, and Obi-Wan's off doing his own thing. Anyway, I think that'll do it for our discussion on that. Unless you had any other.
I'm getting tired.
Cool. Well, that'll do it. Hour and 8 minutes. That's pretty good for us.
Yeah, and then we'll be live next Saturday.
I'm trying to find someone because Lance and Sam and Tyler aren't able to join me next week. But
it's my wife's birthday and work Christmas parties.
Yeah, that's tough. But I'll try to find.
The holiday seasons are tough.
Yeah, they are.
So
that's all right, man. I don't mind doing a little shorter episode.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, thanks for joining us, guys. Reminder that if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, once we get up to another 50 subscribers.
So once we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to give away a Octo Spidey pop or whatever pop the winner chooses. Mm-hmm. We have Octo Spidey, Future Foundation, the Bombastic Bagman, Spider-Man, Craven the Hunter, Sandman. We got a lot of stuff. And they're all Walgreens exclusive, so they're worth a little bit of money. So even if you want to turn around and make $40, you can do that too. Yeah, for sure. So subscribe to us on YouTube, share us with your friends so they can be entered as well. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're at Couch Crunchers at all of those. And then, of course, on the website, www.couchcrunchers.com. Yeah. But that'll do it for us tonight. Until next time, nerds out. Keep on geeking on.
Grade A buffoonery.